Hey, welcome to the Happy Rant Podcast. I am Ted Cluck, joined, as always, in studio by my good friends, my partners in radio, both of them, Ronald J. Martin, Barnabas Piper. Pipe, the fans have spoken. They wanted you back. They've been clamoring for you.
Big.
They're tired of the brand of radio that Ronald and I bring to the table. So you are back. We are happy to have you. You have survived a tornado and the coronavirus. And you're back in studio.
Well, time will tell on the coronavirus. By the time this thing comes out,
well, yeah, so far,
so it could be, in a box. We'll see.
You know what? The coronavirus is not going to stop, Piper, and it's not even going to slow this down. It's Midtown Live in Louisville.
Correct.
Also known as the biggest radio event of the year. Also known as Piper's First Christmas. Not First Christmas, Piper's First Easter. Wrong holiday. So bring your Easter.
I mean, if they want to bring me Christmas presents, I'm down with that.
We should do a Christmas themed live ep sometime in April. That would be amazing.
Shepherd pouches for everybody.
Shepherd's pouches all around.
Well,
you know what we need to do?
So.
We need to get a Shepherd's pouch sponsor. Seriously, someone who makes little canvas like burlap
What
bags.
if Saddleback made us some like hipster leather shepherd pouches?
Oh, dude, Saddleback Shepherd's pouches. They retail for like $350. Yeah, we're all gonna go broke.
Overly engineered,
lifetime warranted Shepherd's pouches.
We're not going to go broke because we get those things for freebie, So
That's right, baby. It's going to be raining pouches.
It's raining Saddleback leather pouches on the program.
But alas, boys, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we are here to promote Midtown Live coming up in not too long in Louisville. So Piper, give us the skinny on this event. Talk us through the ticket buying process, okay? Because that's the main thing. And talk us through our new sponsor. We got a new event sponsor for Midtown Live.
We do, yes. So ticket buying is very easy for them. It just costs you a little bit of money and like 3 clicks of your device, of whatever device you're going. If you just go to happyrantpodcast.com, you'll see all the details right in the middle. The event is April 13th. It's a Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, because it'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, at Sojourn Midtown, which from my understanding is a cathedral-esque building, which really suits our sensibilities.
I love it.
It'll bring out the best in Ronnie because he's very aesthetically motivated.
Yep.
And so I anticipate that being just him being on
Good
fire
space.
that night.
Dude, now how is it that like some Anglicans didn't beat you guys to that building? Because I feel like there would have been a strong kind of like Anglican push for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like a Harvest Bible Chapel buying it out from under you and then ruining.
Dude, the Sojourn hipster community in Louisville must have some juice.
They do. They got some influence, right? They do.
Yeah, big time. I can't wait to see these people in this church. I feel like there's going to be some woodworking like stations, some axe throwing. It's going to be amazing.
Do you think do we have to get like extra insurance for axe throwing, or do we just
we
get
do.
To
we have to get a little rider.
Just get people to sign like a Post-it note that says "I won't sue if my finger gets cut off" or something?
Yeah, I don't know. We got to work all that out, but that's part of the entertainment business, boys. It's just us thinking about that and making it easy for the user. Piper, how can we get tickets for this thing?
Yeah, so it is, if again, you go to happyrantpodcast.com, there's a big sort of orangish button right in the middle of the page. You'll see like live event. It's got the details. It'll say what we're doing. It's the day after Easter. Mm-hmm. So, for those of you who are heavily invested in your church, this is a great chance to kind of come relax after your all of your Good Fridays and Easters and cantatas, and I don't know what all else people do for Easter, but big church things. Drive over to Louisville, come to this thing. Tickets cost $15, so they're not expensive. That basically covers our cost to get there. And then we just secured a sponsor for this thing. That is the Gospel Project, the great kids, students, and adults Bible study and Sunday school and small group curriculum that Lifeway puts out that just looks at the theme of kind of a biblical theology, the theme of redemption through all of Scripture. So there's going to be giveaways of that. There's going to be, we'll have our books, and Ronnie, I'm sure, will have some of his musical swag there as well. So it's going to be a grand time on April 13th at 7 p.m. And you can go to happyrantpodcast.com and buy tickets for not very expensive, and you should do that.
And we can promise that it will be coronavirus free. If we have to wear hazmat suits on stage, we're still doing it.
Yeah, that's true. We can do. We promise we'll be there in spite of coronavirus.
Here's my question, man. What if
Yeah.
I've heard some rumors that maybe T4G is going to be canceled. So what happens?
Baby.
What happens if the lesser of the two events gets canceled? And by lesser, I mean T4G.
I think we still do it. I'll play to a room of
man.
3 people. I don't care.
I'm
going to play it like it's Wembley Stadium.
Absolutes.
We're not some mega church that's afraid of this mess and doing video venue services because we're afraid of coronavirus. We're going in on this thing.
Baby, now I
will be there regardless.
I want to know how coronavirus has impacted the C and D list reformed breakout session schedule that you keep. Like, have any of your gigs been canceled?
Yeah, no, I've had no cancellations. In fact, like even at our own church, boys, wait for it. We still had communion yesterday. We still did communion.
So those like 12-person classrooms where you're doing the breakouts,
we'll miss you.
They just wipe those down with like Clorox and you're good to go.
Clorox or just like a wet towel rack.
Just a wet wipe. Yeah,
Well, I was under the impression that alcohol kills coronavirus. So as long as you're using real wine, you
yeah, I know that's true. Yeah, we're a little controversial in that we're not doing the real wine thing. We're still grape juicing it. You know.
You're not that hipster.
We're not.
I feel like
it's
hipster spectrum says you got to do.
I know we're a little controversial in that we don't give the option, right? We either do real wine, grape juice, like grape soda. You know what I mean? Like whatever one you want.
We got this Anglican church in our town, and I love how like self-satisfied they feel. They work into every conversation how they use real wine.
Dude, they love. Well, yeah, because they love that.
Oh, they love it.
So here's like here's the real wine goblet.
Themselves.
Here's the grape juice goblet. Here's the Fanta grape soda goblet.
Right.
You know, here's the
absolutely
whatever. Yeah.
Well, just ask them if they use Franzia or Boda Box. Like, which version of crappy boxed wine do they use?
Exactly.
And that should shut them up on their smugness. Because, like, congratulations, you got the dregs of the wine barrel.
The dregs of the wine industry every Sunday morning. No, I love it.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you should use some nice wine, right? That would be our gig, right?
Baby, can we
at least go to Trader Joe's and pick up some $2 chuck or whatever?
Can we lean into this coronavirus and breakout session thing for a minute? I want you to like think through your speaking career over the last decade. Because I have thoughts on this for myself, and Piper can probably chime in on this too. What's the saddest like type of room where you've ever done a breakout session? You know what I'm saying? Like you get into the room and you're just like, oh.
I got some.
What are we looking at?
I got some ammunition for that one.
Yeah, lay it on us. I'm just curious.
So the most depressing one I ever did was it was like a kid's. It was like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it was literally it was like a nursery room for like kids ages 0 to 2, and I literally I think I had to do 2 breakout sessions, and the second one I did, it had a dad and his like 10-year-old daughter in it.
Spectacular.
And that was it.
Spectacular.
And I still had to do it. It was like a 45-minute breakout, and I had to do the whole thing.
And the 10-year-old daughter's like distracted by the Barbies. And were the chairs really tiny?
Yeah, and it was like the tiny little it was like the tiny desks.
And the thing is, every single one of those rooms smells vaguely of like rancid apple juice and
Cheerios
and yesterday's diapers.
Yesterday's diapers and like Honey Nut Cheerios, right?
So, fantastic.
So it was just like, and I'm sitting in there. So this is like, Pipe, you'll get this, right? It gets a little awkward because it's like, well, let's give it some time for people to come in, right? Because it was post lunch, so everybody's a little late. And so it's like 10 minutes after I'm supposed to start, and it's like, no, that's who's coming. That's who's showing up. So I just dove into it, and there it was. So that one,
maybe the glitz and glamour of the road. You know,
it was
it's what Bob Seger sang about all those years ago. You know,
absolutely.
It's not all.
Well, those are the moments where you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done speaking. I'm not doing this.
I'm done
again.
speaking until next
week.
week.
Take the next booking.
I'm done until 3 days.
Did you get?
Exactly.
Was this a paid speaking thing, or was this like they gave you like we'll cover your travel, and then they gave you like a gift basket of chocolate covered almonds or something?
No, I mean it was like legit. It was a worship conference thing, and it was like it was like legit. It was. Here's the thing, like the actual conference was like it was good. It was a good turnout. For some reason, this breakout was just something nobody was interested in, topic wise. So. Yeah.
Interesting.
So not that I was insulted by that.
Was it a situation where it was like a 500-person conference and they did like 27 breakouts? So the math just doesn't work out in the speaker's
Pipe, you know
favor?
what, man? It probably was exactly that. Yeah. That's about what it was.
Yeah,
one
those
of
are great.
Deals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not awesome.
It's not super fun. Yeah, it wasn't super fun. But, there it is.
So, baby, I played a mega church youth group room one time where there were like 75 Xboxes and screens, and there was an abandoned airplane like hanging from the ceiling.
Of course, there's always an abandoned airplane.
Yeah, they had like the carcass of a Cessna like hanging.
Yeah,
from the ceiling.
or something from World War II. Like where they get these things is baffling.
It is baffling, and it's like, I want to play my Xbox underneath the abandoned husk of an old like mid-century airplane.
Yeah, baby, those used to be the gigs I would play, like those youth event rally things. Like, always under like always under the Cessna hanging from the air, just praying that thing praying that thing holds and doesn't drop on your head.
The hooks don't break, and
So how was it?
You've seen the underside of a lot of Cessna.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We can describe them at will.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A Pipe, most depressing venue you've ever played is a breakout session speaking.
Oh, the most depressing venues are by far any hotel conference room or like meeting center. So, because all they all smell the same, they all look the same, and the two that I recall both had like the turnouts were pretty good. One of them was it was a retreat for ministry people, and I was talking pastors' kids stuff, and they were super engaged, great hosts. But it was at I think it was at a Hampton Inn and Suites in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Dude, that just sounds like
nice.
it sounds like you're getting ready to tell a joke.
And so you get like the little prefab stage that's 18 inches high, and it's kind of like rickety elementary school bleacher material. And then the podium that has like the black draping in front of it, and then it has like the Hampton Inn little logo on the front, so it kind of looks like you're giving a press conference or a political speech.
Yeah.
And then they're all sitting around round tables, and the hosts had done their best to kind of give the room some decor so that it didn't feel exactly like a hotel conference room.
Yeah.
But the weirdest one was I got invited to do a Christian school fundraiser in, was it Iowa City or Ames? Okay. It was somewhere in Iowa in like a February, like 4
always a great
years ago.
state to go to in winter.
Oh, absolutely. Like a dream.
And again, the principal of the school hosted. He was great, but it was first of all, I'm not a Christian school person. Like I'm not an education guy. Yeah. So I even asked him, I was like, what do you want me to talk about? Because I don't really know how you want me to do this. And then they're like, it's fairly formal. So I had to wear a nice blazer and tie and whatever.
You had to put on your favorite DA Carson outfit.
Dude, private Christian schools love the blazer. Like they're pro blazer all day long.
Well, this thing is like a suit was only for like the bankers in the room who are going to cut the big checks. Yep. So the blazers are for the rest of us. So, and I went brown blazer, or maybe I went gray blazer, but it was sort of like, it was the not quite like the true traditional navy.
Yeah.
But again, it was just a big hotel ballroom, and you stand up on this stage, and the lighting is weird, and the sound is very echoey, and something about hotel meeting rooms, it just sucks any ounce of like engagement, creativity, everything. Like college classrooms are better than that. I've spoken in a bunch of those, and you get in there and you kind of feel like, okay, we're going to interact about stuff, whatever that is.
Totally.
College lecture halls are like that.
Yeah. College lecture halls are good rooms, man, to be honest.
Yeah, like they're designed for somebody to speak to a group of people who are positioned to listen.
Yeah.
Hotel ballrooms are like, I don't know, it's a cardboard box that we insulated a little bit.
I think the whole like ethos behind the hotel conference room is to really make you like your room, like your hotel room. Like, because you just have this insatiable desire to like flee the meeting room and get back up to your room as quickly as possible.
Insatiable desire to give up on all of life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the signage on them is always the same. It's like the foam core sign on the easel outside that's like 7 p.m. Barnabas Piper speaking on whatever. And you walk up and you're like, oh, I'm speaking and I don't even want to be here.
There's like
I just want to go back to my room.
It's that ballroom setting. there's something about it that feels, it's almost like, how do you describe it? Like, it feels like a version of like it just feels fake.
It feels like it would be on The Office.
Yeah,
You know what I
feels
mean?
like
It would be like a bit.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It feels not a prep. It feels like sort of like a set, like from like it just.
Yeah.
There's something about it where it feels like
But like a high school drama set.
That's what I
not
mean.
Like
this is where people
movie set.
end up
Yes.
who don't want to end up in these places, kind of a thing. And so you feel like it's almost like this life flashing before, like it feels like it's the setup to a joke. Like this is where I ended up speaking. You know,
The joke that we've been
like,
making for the last 12
yeah,
minutes.
correct.
Yeah.
Right, you walk in there and you immediately feel like a failed
You
life
do,
coach.
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you need a flip
You're like-
chart and like an over-the-ear mic.
I read a Tony Robbins book and now I'm trying to be him at
a
this
Hampton Inn.
hotel
Yes.
ballroom
Yeah,
venue.
exactly. Where did my life go wrong? Where did I go off the rails?
Which is basically we're just describing all of our lives right now. So yeah, that was a great lead-in, Pipe. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Dude, I did it.
But see, here's the thing, like I've spoken at like really crappy camps before.
Yeah.
And those never strike me as crappy because I'm like, oh, that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like the chapel's supposed to smell mildewy and be drafty, and there's a bunch of high school kids who are kind of half paying attention.
Yeah.
But like the 5 who are paying attention are 120% paying attention.
Totally.
Like, those kinds of things are money.
That's
I love
funny
that.
because that is my absolute most like depressor right there.
Dude, no way.
Yeah,
See, I
that
love
camp
camping.
thing just absolutely slays me, man.
Maybe it's because Ted and I are Midwest
guess.
kids who grew
I grew up
going to camps
too.
like
No,
that.
I did the Christian camp circuit. I mean, I grew up doing it.
It's
Just
the California Christian camp circuit.
I don't know. It's not that it's bad. It brings up old vibes to me, which is just like, it came to this. This is what it's come to. I don't know, man. It just has that vibe to me. I mean, I'll do them and they're usually enjoyable, but like my initial feel when you walk into that environment where it all smells like sloppy joes perpetually for life, like there's just something about the smell of it and the whole thing where I just go, oh man, like give me a minute.
Dude, listen to
Give me
this,
a
man.
minute.
Listen to this. This will make you guys feel better about your lives. So I did a gig 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to get into the particulars of this, but it was on our campus. And
Oh, boy.
I found out like 5 to 10 minutes before going on stage that my gig was like punishment, like that the audience had to be there. And it was this like punishment thing for like male Greek life. Like, oh yeah, by the way, they all have to be here. And the energy in the room was just like all these bros slumped like as far down in a chair as you can get without like falling out of it, you know? Oh, it was terrible.
I feel like you're the type to get up there and be like, you know who this is really punishment
Me.
for?
Me. Exactly. I basically did say that. But
That's hilarious,
but yeah,
dude.
that was a first for my life, man, being used as punishment. So
Wait, what was it punishment for?
I shouldn't get into it. I wish I could.
Just poorly behaved college students?
Yes. Yeah, in general.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious,
for
P,
sure.
that they like set you up for that gig.
Yeah, well, it was a panel, so I was up there with a few other people who, to be honest, are greater people than me. You know what I mean? Like it was, they were too good of person to be used in this way. So I felt bad for my fellow panelists, worse than I felt for myself. But yeah, it was definitely a new low.
Oh, that's
for
rough.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some things that aren't rough. Let's talk about some new and old sponsors that we have. So Piper, we got 2 promos to do. We have Dwell Bible and we have a new book. It's been a while since we've done a book, so maybe we should do that one first.
Yeah, let's knock this one out first because they're a new sponsor for us. It's a new book from InterVarsity Press by I think we've actually promoted a book by this author before, and he's like a friend of the podcast. So it's a new book from Jonathan Dodson called Our Good Crisis: Overcoming Moral Chaos with the Beatitudes. So Jonathan Dodson, he's a pastor in Texas, and he started Gospel Centered Discipleship, who we've had some different stuff of theirs come through the podcast, some great guys there, I think. And then I've done they do a little writing cohort kind of thing that I've done a session for periodically. So great bunch of people, but that's not a bad speaking venue because I get to do it from my own home via video, which is nice. But the book, Our Good Crisis, so basically Dodson looks at all of the sort of moral and political and environmental morass of confusion that is today, and then takes the Beatitudes and filters all of that mess through it as sort of this is Christ's set of standards for how we should think about responding to moral ambiguity, responding to political crisis and angst and power and all of that. And so which I love books like this because it sort of cuts to the chase, and instead of taking a side or pushing us to think a certain way or do's and don'ts kinds of things, it just says, well, these are biblical principles that you can always apply when people are freaking out about something.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anybody to get this. Dodson's a great writer. He writes like a pastor in terms of the sermonic tone of it.
Yeah.
So it's very accessible, very clear. He's not trying to impress anybody with his academic credentials. And let's see. Let's look at the endorsements for this.
While you're looking up the endorsements, Pipe, I got a hot take on Dodson. I'm looking at his picture here. You know, I like to look.
Fire away.
You know, I like to look at the picture. He looks a little bit like the guy who played the Joker. He looks like Joaquin a little tiny bit. Are you with me on that?
He does. He's like a happy, non-neurotic Joaquin.
Yeah, he's like a non-miserable Joaquin. So,
which is to say, doesn't really look like him other than like the jawline and the nose.
Good job. You know. Good job, Jonathan Dodson.
All right, so Russell Moore likes it.
Okay.
Colin Hansen likes it.
Nice.
David Wells, who maybe not a widely known name, but very widely respected in our camps, likes it.
Dude, the Yankees pitcher or the Gordon Conwell guy? Which David Wells?
Gordon Conwell guy. If it was the former overweight lefty Yankees pitcher, I would be thrilled.
Exactly.
That would give me a whole different respect for both David Wells and this book.
Absolutely.
But instead, it's a very widely respected theologian and professor. So yeah, check out the book. It's called Our Good Crisis by Jonathan Dodson. It is available now, and you can get it, wherever you buy books.
There you go.
Your jam, y'all.
Piper, that's a good read. It's so good to have you back in studio, and also good to have you back doing the promos. I feel like Ronald and I just kind of stumbled our way.
Pipe mainly just for the promos. It's good to have you back. So it's
okay, to be clear.
Yeah, I did see one comment on Facebook. So I posted the episodes you guys did most recently. And it was the first comment just said, "You guys need Piper back," and I felt really bad because
I felt bad too.
I let that one listener down.
Yeah.
The rest of the listeners didn't say anything of the sort, so I think they were all fine. But then I felt bad for you because that it means he wasn't crazy about the work you guys did. I will say the episode you did,
he wasn't crazy about the free thing that he gets every week.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so sad.
I post. Yeah.
What a tool.
Good.
Like really. Come on.
No, but we got 2 or 3 emails about the episode you guys did prior to that. What was that? It was the kind of disappointment episode, and people loved it. They found it very helpful because of their struggles in ministry or creative life. So don't worry. One listener was cranky about me being out last episode. So really, to that listener, my insincerest apologies. I'm back, and I'll do promo.
One person was cranky about you being busy being like a hero to the Nashville community in the wake of a tornado. So, I think that's a good excuse to be out. But speaking of speakers and famous people, boys, I want to lean into a couple of things. Don Carson was at our school last week.
What?
The great D.A. Carson. Dak. Yeah, and he didn't text me and ask to hang out.
That's insane. Was he wearing his blue jacket and khakis? I mean, was he wearing his
probably? I didn't go to the gig, man. It was listen to this. It was like $60 to go.
What? Did you get dinner? Did you get a book? What did you get for that?
Well, I think it was dinner. I don't know. I didn't go. But my kid. Listen to this. My kid went.
Stop.
Because he works like in the catering arm of Union once in a while, and he worked that event.
So he was forced to go.
He was texting me from it, and he's like, "Hey, what do you know about this D.A. Carson guy?"
What do you know about this guy, Donnie?
Yeah, and I'm like, we basically used to hang out.
This older guy who keeps mispronouncing Isaiah.
Exactly.
Baby, did you tell him that you had that round table like thing with Dak that time?
Well, dude, I did. I told him all about the round table, and I told him all about how I was Dak's handler basically way back in the early KDY years when he came to speak at KDY's church. And I drove him around town, man, and he was not a fun hang in the car. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, he wasn't interested in like listening to music.
I don't think you're
nor did he want to
surprising
banter with
anybody
me.
right now. That's I don't
Yeah,
think you're
not a
killing
super
anybody.
fun, like,
Okay, what kind of music did you offer to play for? This is fascinating. I want to know what musical offerings Ted put in front of Don.
dude, whatever CDs were in my car in like 2004. So it was
So
probably
you're
like
playing Usher.
50 Cent.
Weezer?
Yeah, like Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent, or what else would have been in my car in 2004? I don't know. Probably that album Metallica made with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Nothing that Dak would really be super into, to be fair.
What do you think he would be into?
That's a great
Orchestral
question.
music.
Yeah, orchestral music.
But I feel like he would have very strong opinion of that too. He'd be like, "No, I like the German school or this particular era
Kraftwerk?
or something." Like,
Yeah, right. Either
you say?
orchestral music, Kraftwerk, or Matt Boswell. I mean, take your
Matty Boss.
take your choice.
Yeah, Matty
One of
Boss.
the take your choice, Dak. One of
Dude,
these will
wouldn't it be funny if
surprise you.
Dak, if he had like a real weird like pop sensibility or just an artist that he really rode with, like who would that be? If Dak was
Post Malone.
Post Malone, yeah, Dak's like, I'm gonna get that tattoo on my face, in honor of Post.
Dak's
Malone.
like, nobody knows this about me, but I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan.
Exactly. He's like early Taylor Swift though,
Exactly.
Yeah. Love story? Anybody?
Like I used to love the Dixie Chicks, and they got all political.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could just imagine like walking down a hall behind him at the next what is it, TGC conference, and hearing him whistling like Teardrops on My Guitar quietly to himself.
He's like, marry me, Juliet, we'll never have to be alone.
He's like, I love that new post Christian Bieber stuff. I love Yummy.
fellow Canadians. I bet there's a
Oh,
Bieber
100%,
connection.
man. 100.
Dude, who do you think is the most famous Canadian Dax hung out with? Like, or rubbed shoulders with in some way?
Besides himself?
No, well, yeah. I mean, it's not Biebs. Yeah, besides himself and besides J.I. Packer.
Well, I was going to
So they're
say,
off the
dude,
table.
I mean, when you're at his level of what he does, like, who are you hanging out with, like on a pop level, right?
I don't know, like Mike Myers,
Packer
John
Canadian. I thought he was from England originally.
No, he's Canadian.
Wait, who?
man.
Packer? He's in Canada now. He's like out there. He's been in Vancouver for a while, I think.
I mean, and I guess Canada's sort of like what are they, like a province or
They're just like
they're
fake
Commonwealth
British.
or something
They're like
of England. It's like England. It's like England's
It's like
territory.
England, South
yeah.
Dakota.
Yeah, there you go.
England, South Dakota
I
with
know.
like British candy bars, and they have to like the Queen or something.
Alanis Morissette, was she Canadian?
Yes.
I bet Dax.
Brian
I
Adams.
bet he's had like a
Canadian.
yeah.
There's a lot of
Brian
people
Adams.
that are. This is what it is for me, guys. Like what I find out people are Canadian years later, and my comment is always, "Oh, I had no idea they were Canadian."
Well, and all the hockey players too. Do you think he's hung out with Wayno, like the great one?
Dude, do you think
Like
he's a
Gretzky?
sports guy?
No,
I could see Dak being a huge closet.
Dude, I totally
hockey
agree with
yeah.
that. Pipe.
It's
I
closet
totally
because
agree.
he doesn't have any obvious interest besides theology.
I agree with
so,
that.
I could see him being like a massive Winnipeg Jets
Like,
fan or
I
something
feel
like
like-
that.
Yeah, Dale Howarchuk.
Yeah, Dale Howarchuk. That's what I was
Dak.
going to say. I'm joking, but like I was
hung out back in the day.
But I see him being like, dude, it's like Thanksgiving, and I'm like, it's like your dad, where he allows himself just for like 1 minute to like watch a sports game,
He allows himself like 25 minutes of hockey viewing a year.
right? Because to celebrate like a holiday.
Okay, so little known fact about John Piper is that he actually loves sports. He just loves using his time differently. So, like when I'm in town, my dad will figure out how to get games on. So last fall, I went up there for my sister's wedding, and it was the Vikings were playing the Packers on the Sunday immediately after. So they got married on Saturday, so that's Sunday. My brother brought his TV to my parents'
That's
house,
hilarious.
because my parents don't have a TV.
Yeah.
And then we said we figured out how to stream it through NFL.com or Hulu or something. And like my dad was inside watching the game,
Dude, okay,
for the most
so-
part, while like the kids were all running around outside.
This is a topic I want to lean into, okay? Like the principled, like mega Christian in your life who is too good for television, but who like wants everyone else in his life to go through all kinds of gymnastics so that he can watch the stuff that he wants to watch. Like yeah, I'll just put my 55-inch plasma into the back of my car and like bring my Xbox and
Well, I mean, you just summarized it pretty well.
Yeah.
Like that. Yep. There you go. That's the experience.
It's so funny though. Like I had a guy like this in my life, and he was like, and this was more like early 2000s era, but he's like, yeah, could anybody just like tape the Michigan game for me and drop it in the mail? And it's like
hilarious.
That's kind of a lot of work, you got it's a post office run and a VHS.
Like it'd be easier for you just to go to Best Buy, buy a new TV, like hook it up and watch the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And cheaper,
exactly. No, it's good though. It's so
yeah.
funny.
I would say for sure that describes Dak. Like literally, it's like some weirdo holiday. Like there's some hockey game on. He's looking at his wife, going, "Babe, do you think it's like? Would it be a sin for me to watch this game right now?"
Yeah, like whose house can we drive
Yeah.
to? Like who can I impose upon? Like who has cable so that I can watch this game?
Like, what if we went to my son's
funny.
house? Would that be okay?
It'd be funny to be that guy for Dak. You know what I mean? Like you're the hockey
His
game
sports
guy.
handler?
His sports handler, dude. Yeah, he was disappointed in me and in my handler.
Oh, he was so
I
disappointed.
mean, he's a doctoral studies overseer. He has that power over people's lives. Like,
True.
Oh, you've poured years and years and years of yourself. Like you've already burnt. Like you have worked your fingers to the bone trying to impress me. Yes, I'm going to come watch TV at your house.
Yeah,
and
totally,
you can't
dude.
say no.
Yeah, it's some like teaching assistant, who can't say no. I think that's who Dak's calling to come hang out to watch the hockey games. So yeah, and baby, real quick on this, a little at Jared C. Wilson update. No email. Still no email.
Dude,
Still
you're
waiting.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, not you guys. Ted, you went hard at Jared last episode.
I did. Yeah, I wrote him a little fan letter because I liked a thing that he had written. And
Guys,
yeah.
now I don't want him to write you back so that we can like talk about how he's never written you back for like years to come.
So did you have a direct? You guys may have covered this. I honestly didn't listen to the last episode that closely. I just dropped in enough so that I could make bullet pointed show notes.
Sure.
So did you have a direct email address, or was this through like a contact me form?
Dude, no, I think it was a direct email address. And yeah, it was just like once a year I get really appreciative of people, and I'm just like, I'm gonna write some fan letters.
Still waiting for that email, baby.
and it's
Just
not even
BTW,
Christmas or anything.
Still waiting for that email that once a year from you.
Oh yeah, baby. Well, it's coming. It's definitely coming.
So that
But,
I cannot write you back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd
So
love
you
to have the pleasure of not writing you back like Jared.
I'm too busy
C.
hanging out with Jared to write you back. We're like
Just like you're too
doing each
busy with
other's
hanging
nails.
with
I
Dak.
don't
I mean, it's all the same.
Yeah. Well,
It's all the same thing.
I mean, like me driving around with Dak all the time.
Correct.
So just listening to music, sharing our feelings.
Correct.
Dak was my aux cord
Ted, do you
guy.
reply to every piece of fan mail you get, Ted?
Honestly, if it's kind, like if it's not hate mail, I respond. And sometimes I don't respond at length, but I'm just like, yeah, thanks, man, because I really do appreciate like people's appreciation. And I'm not going at Jared. This is a bit. Like this isn't me actually being mad. It's a
But
bit.
you're a little curious.
Dude, yeah, I'm just
You're
I'm a little
slightly curious, we would say.
Is it possible that he's way more famous than we've given him credit for, and he gets inundated with mail? So
No.
yours just like got lost.
I think he
in the
might be one of those
shuffle
guys, Pipe, that gets a lot of emails. I'm not kidding.
I think he gets a lot of emails because people don't like him.
Really?
Like he says controversial things, and then he also lives in the SBC world where people get very angry about things.
That's true.
So it's possible he gets a ton of hate mail, and so he has like a strong filter in place, and maybe yours got caught in the
That could
filter.
be. That
What's weird though too is like I get like I've shifted, so like I get more texts than I get emails now because I kind of got you know what I mean. So like I get more people contacting me either on like Facebook, Twitter, or text than I get like actual emails from people, which is weird.
Dude, that's a funny thing, and I forget what context it was in that it came up. Maybe it was you and me last week, but I feel like, yeah, people are even too lazy to write hate mail anymore. It's just like they kill you on Twitter in 140 characters,
Yep.
and it's like, yeah, I'm getting nostalgic for hate mail now. Like
Beautiful days
back
of
when
hate
people were committed enough to write a 2-paragraph
The
email.
nostalgia of hate mail.
Exactly. Oh, classic. Boys, we got time probably for one more topic. And
If it makes you guys feel better, we do get hate mail for the podcast. Like we're still drumming up interest in that.
Oh, I
way.
love it.
We probably once every week and a half to 2 weeks we get a I was recommended to your podcast by Spotify, and you guys are so snarky I can't even take it anymore, and I'm not listening anymore. I mean, they take 900 words to say I'm not going to listen.
Well, dude, yeah.
So we get those. Would you like me to forward that on to you for your nostalgic blessing?
No, forward it to me, Pipe, because I
don't
love
want
stuff
that.
like that.
Okay, I'll pass those along just for your encouragement.
Because I find it...
Pass it along to me.
To you, Ron, not to
boys,
you.
I find it incredible that people don't get like the funny irony, we don't take ourselves seriously, it's all a joke aspect of this program. That like astounds me. That absolutely astounds me.
Well, dude, there are a lot of Christians, though, in their defense, I guess, who were just raised in a completely...
Absolutely.
You talk about like quarantine, you talk about like coronavirus quarantine. They were in like a humor quarantine. You know what I mean? Where they were just in like a hazmat suit that like protected them from any kind of humor. And
because I mean,
I think those are the people that are...
Because to be like truly... Because I always tell people like, dude, this is not a cynical program because we're not really serious about any of this stuff. We're actually like optimistic and we're hopeful. We're just being funny. So you can't really be snarky and cynical if you're actually not taking what you're talking about seriously. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's fun. And I like being able to say this even right now because we're still probably going to get an email like after this pod.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you never know what's going to hit a nerve either. Like I tweeted something out on Sunday and it was a coronavirus joke, which is always in good taste, I think. I just said, if you're going to skip church because of coronavirus, you should probably skip brunch too.
That was funny.
And yeah, Ronnie replied with a very humorous response.
Ronnie's like, I'm never skipping brunch. Our church is brunch.
That's it. Yeah. Ronnie's response was, people got to eat, Pipe, which was very funny. But, most of the responses were funny. One or two people came back and were furious.
Oh, I didn't see those, Pipe. Okay.
Like just one person had their church canceled because of this, and so they were not able to meet, and so this person was very upset because she felt targeted by this tweet, I think, and was like, some of us are grieving about having to miss church and don't give a bleep about brunch. And I was like, you didn't skip. Yeah. You didn't skip church.
Right.
They skipped you.
Exactly.
Like they canceled,
fine.
not you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people who are like in their fuzzy pajamas at home debating whether they should have pancakes or waffles instead of going to church. Like those people.
Dude, that's really funny, man. I love it, man. I love it.
So, yes, you can make people mad any which way. It's impossible not to make people mad.
You know who makes people mad? Doug Wilson.
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh. Dougie made some people mad this week. And
was he talking again?
What? Also, like, I don't know if we've ever gone a minute and a half on this, but I love that his name is Doug. Is anyone else named Doug anymore?
No.
Like, there aren't any 9-year-old kids walking around.
No, there hasn't been a kid named Doug in
Doug?
7 years.
I know one guy at church named Doug, and he's about our age. Yeah. He's about my age, and is really nice.
Dude, how did he get named Doug being your age?
Low key.
That's impossible.
He was right on the tail
I don't know.
of Doug's, I bet, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, certainly. Or like, yeah, he was named after like a beloved uncle or something. Yeah. But yeah, and he's an awesome dude. So like, I was gonna ask, is Doug like the equivalent of Karen? You know how Karen is sort of the memed name, like Karen wants to see the manager kind of thing. Is Doug that? But I don't think it is. I think it's just a name from a bygone generation.
80s kid name. Yeah,
it's like Janet
for sure.
It's like Shelley.
Oh, Shelley. Dude, I like
It's
that.
like Connie.
Oh, my sister-in-law's name is Shelley. And she's
That's
a child
what I'm saying.
of the 70s.
It's all those
born in the
names
70s,
that
so, yeah.
I don't even think are going to come back someday. Right. They're not even going to come back someday. Right.
Yeah. Dude, I hope it makes a comeback.
Well, who looks down at a little baby and goes, "Oh, he's adorable, honey. Let's name him Doug."
Well, dude, I felt that way about Jack 20 years ago, and now like every other college dude is named
Jack's huge, man. Yeah, because
Jack is so
Jack
huge.
and Henry and all these all these steampunk names.
Yes, very steampunk. Like, born 21 years ago.
Born in 1885.
Oh, this is what we're getting a hate mail about, guys. You just like took a leak on everybody's children who listens to this thing. They're like, Madison is offended.
No, I like Jack
why?
though. I like it as a name. I think it's a perfectly cool
Pipe, that's
name.
funny. Madison is offended.
Madison. Dude, there's so many
Maddie.
Madisons.
Oh, Maddie's
You're right.
huge.
Yeah.
We have like
huge.
19 Maddies at our church right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course you do, baby. Of course you do. Now, like, what did Doug say that got everybody riled up?
Did you research that a little bit, man? With that, were you able to get into that? Because I can't. I don't have it.
No, here's the thing. If I start searching Doug Wilson things, it just is a black hole of controversy and things that make me mad. There was a short video. I did see this briefly earlier this week. I was in the midst of other things and didn't pay super close attention. But he essentially was pushing back against the notion of servant leadership in the home, and I think he said something to the effect of it's not very manly.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. It's not manly. Dude, the Happy Rant Gender podcast. That's basically what this
Dude,
is.
it's
what
phenomenal. What a
has been over the last
phenomenal
6
thing
months.
to say. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it's bonkers.
Yeah.
It's a bonkers thing to say. Like in our age,
Are we just
in our
looking?
moment.
Is he just looking for takes? at
Oh,
this point?
100, man. 100.
Like, hey, I'm going to go in on servant leadership this week, everybody.
Yeah.
So I have a theory on this,
Yeah.
and that is, if you live in a place like Moscow, Idaho, what
Like,
else
how-
do you have to do besides look
bored are
for
you?
takes?
Yeah.
Dude, we got to do a live show in Moscow, Idaho.
No, we don't. No, 100% we do not.
I want to.
I do not need to go to Moscow, Idaho.
I love how
I
you
wanna
just
see it,
shut
Ron.
that down immediately.
Can I go back to a hotel boardroom in Tupelo, Mississippi?
Yeah.
Let's do a live show there. That would be better. The people there were so nice.
Dude, yeah.
And
Tupelo folks
they
are
would be a great audience. I do not want to go to Moscow.
Yeah.
so
I don't know. It'd just be interesting.
I feel like I do feel like if I went with you guys, it would be much more fun.
Can you
any other
imagine
reason
us
to go.
doing a live show in Moscow just with the whole theme of it being Douglas Wilson? I mean, what would
Dude, it'd be like Rocky IV, you know.
I mean, can we do Moscow, Russia? That'd be way better.
we could?
I bet we have a listener base in Moscow.
I mean, as soon as the Gospel Coalition does a conference in Moscow, Russia,
Exactly. We'll
be
piggyback
there.
on it.
We'll be able to do it. You know,
Dude, TGC Russia 2021. Dun, dun, dun.
Soviet conference.
love it.
2021.
That's right. Amazing.
Yeah. So Doug Wilson
amazing.
thinks basically that servant leadership is like nowhere to be found in the Bible or something like that or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's what would be the flip side of servant leadership?
I think he
Like
was just saying like
dictatorship.
Well, I think he's like
Misogyny.
totally because masculinity. I mean that's the thing that's been taking a hit for all these years. Not enough masculinity. That's our problem, boys.
It's hard being a man these days. Everybody's out
Right.
to get us.
Absolutely.
We can't do anything right. We're at fault for everything. Man, you know what? The solution is servant leadership.
Let's ditch it. I'm ready to ditch,
take
guys.
control
I'm
back,
ready to
gentlemen.
ditch it immediately.
Dude, you've given me a lot to chew on here.
Yeah, I'm ready to ditch it.
Life would be way easier if I didn't have to try to serve
Well,
anybody.
that's 100% correct. That's the truest thing I've heard spoken all week, Pipe.
Dude, now practically, I'm just trying to think through if we as men decide to ditch servant leadership, like the three of us, what would that look like in our homes? Pipe, like
I've already ditched it.
kids, you're on your own for dinner. Just make whatever, and I'm not doing laundry, so the kids would be doing their own laundry. It'd be like overflowing.
Well,
And
Pipe, you're not doing that anyway. You're a man. You're about being masculine. What
I'm not
are
helping out
you
in the
talking
kitchen.
about?
I don't even know how to
laundry
get
and
to the kitchen
Like,
in
what
my
are you even talking about right
Yeah.
now? Yeah,
I don't even know where the wash machine is. In my
correct.
Actually, I'm a beast at
I
laundry,
think it's.
dude. I do the heck out of some laundry. I don't know. I just like doing it.
Wow.
I think there's even just verbiage changes. You just stop saying please.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of would you please clean your room to your kids, it's like go clean your room. Now, of course, every dad gets there at some point once the kid hasn't done it, but you drop please, no requests.
demand.
Everything is
Demand.
everything is just it's just an order.
Yeah.
You must do this now.
Yeah.
Bring me whatever. I think that's, language sort of changes reality as we use it. So I think if we commit to making that shift, we can really do away with servant leadership in a matter of weeks.
Well, let's do it.
Just stop requesting.
Yeah. Wow. Dougie, he's given us a lot to choose.
Masculinity, it's all about getting what Doug Wilson wants. That's what I have to say.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, I'm going to get so in trouble with my network because last year I did a Masters of Ceremony thing and I made a super crazy Doug Wilson joke. And, believe it or not, even at Sojourn Network, I offended some people with that one.
You took some heat at So.
I did, for real. I did. It was really funny.
What was this super crazy Doug Wilson joke? I feel like anything you've said about him can't top what he has said from his
I
own
just was
face.
making a joke like we can let I can't get all into it, but like I basically said we can let our guard down a little bit because Douglas Wilson is no longer on the Sojourn board. And it was more deep than that, but like
wait, he used to be on
No,
the
he
Sojourn
wasn't. That was the joke. So it was like
okay.
So it's like we don't have to be as uptight anymore about some of these things because Dougie's not on the board anymore, and like a bunch of people laughed. And then I was told about, again, not the people that laughed, but the people in the front row that didn't laugh about it. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought we were like a network that's not super pro Dougie. Like you would just think like that's a given. And that's why
you misread the room.
For those 3 people that were offended, I did, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's tough.
It was rough. It was rough. So me and Doug are a little on the outs, as well as being on the outs with Dougie Wilson fans,
That's where you just look up, wipe the sweat off your brow, look at the undercarriage of that Cessna, and just keep going forward. Like think about the axes you're going to throw later. Think about the like $94 steak dinners you're going to be enjoying.
Big T, you know what though? It's okay because
nickel.
when I get booked to speak at Desiring God Conference in a couple years with Doug Wilson, like we're going to make amends. Yeah. It's going to be fine.
You're going to be best friends.
You're
going to be hanging out with Doug more than you're hanging out with Jared.
100%.
Jared's going to feel jealous.
Okay, so here's the thing. I will 100% guarantee you Dougie Wilson is a better hang than Don Carson.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Like if you got to be his minder for the day, you would have stories to tell of like great conversations and shared,
at least we could argue the whole time
what.
and like get sarcastic and laugh.
What?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He's a really nice guy in person. He really is. Like, and he's brilliant, and he's one of the best writers out there.
Shaky ground right now.
He just says some crazy stuff.
Crazy.
Which is a real problem. Crazy. Well, right. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like it's a weird thing.
You're a sympathetic Doug Wilson guy, man. That's
Oh, no, Ron, you're just trying to start controversy for Pipe. You're trying to get him
stirring things up.
Yeah.
Don't get me in trouble. I'm already in trouble.
Dude, you're in trouble because you just called Doug Wilson brilliant. Dude, that's you, man. That's you.
Yes. Well, he is. You can be brilliant and wrong.
True.
That's true.
You can also be brilliant and no fun.
2 things
you
that
can be
have
brilliant
never been
and
said
wrong
about
and
me.
fun. Like there's a mix of things that are going on here.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's true. That's true.
Or you can be like us, which is, I don't know if we're brilliant. We're often wrong, and I hope we're fun.
There you go.
You know what's always a good hang? And you know what I could have used in my car in 2004 when I was driving Don Carson around town? The Dwell Bible
You think
app.
he would have been okay
we could have
with
just
that?
listened to Dwell.
You think he would have been okay with that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I would.
I bet he has strong feelings about the medium in which Scripture should be expressed, and if you turned on any of the musical backgrounds, he would be like,
"What if
turn this off? This is an abomination."
What if I toggled it to the Canadian voice on Dwell, and the voice would be like, "Hey, there's therefore now no condemnation, eh?"
I love
I love
the
stereotype. What if I toggled to that voice? Would he have liked it then?
That would be fun. Is there a Canadian voice on there?
I don't know.
Dude, there literally can't.
Yeah, there should be. Though.
Can't be a Canadian voice on Dwell.
I want there to be one.
Why not?
I would listen to it in that voice. Piper, tell us about Dwell.
I was waiting for the cue. So yes, listeners, go to dwellapp.io/happyrant to check it out. It's an audio Bible app. Multiple narrators. They got all sorts of different features so that you can listen in the way that works for you, whether it's a listen all the way through plan or different books of the Bible or like listen and reflect kinds of things. All sorts of different stuff you can do. It's a great way to get Scripture into your life when you spend a lot of time in the car or you are at the gym or whatever you're doing that is not convenient for reading. And they have a discount for our listeners. It's a 33% discount off of their monthly or annual subscription. So I think it's less than $20 a year with the discount, and it's less than $2 a month. So again, dwellapp.io/happyrant. They have the discount there. Check it out, and you'll love it. I use it pretty regularly. It's a great just sort of supplemental way to be in the Word for me. A lot of people use it as their main go-to scripture, and it works really well both ways.
There we go, boys. That was a good 50 minutes of radio. It feels good to have Pipe back for a lot of reasons, not just the promos. And not just the
but especially the promos.
Not just the Douglas Wilson controversy that he brought to the table.
Big.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the hate mail is going to come from this week. Is it that people are defending Doug? Mm-hmm. Is it
we don't
that,
have those defenders?
Is it that we've insulted? Is it that we've insulted women? Is it that we are cynical?
Wait.
Is it that I said Doug is brilliant?
Did we insult women at some point? Did I miss this?
Well, if people don't recognize humor,
we're not servant
we did.
leaders.
Just by being men who are talking, we've insulted women.
We said we're doing away with servant leadership, and you made laundry jokes. So there's a good chance someone is triggered right now.
Well, dude,
they may have already sent the hate mail.
Yeah, my only laundry thing was that I do some good laundry work in my home. So I think I'm above.
I heard you
here,
say that, Big T. That's what I heard.
Thank you, baby. Well, we will just sit back and wait for the hate mail to pour in as we always do in this program.
And I will share it with Ron.
Yeah, I will wait.
No, I appreciate it.
I will wait for Piper to wait and send.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You boys enjoy that hate mail. I'm going to just clear out my emails and wait for that response from Jordan C. Wilson. I'm gonna clear the schedule. I'm not gonna go to work this week, not because of the coronavirus, but just because I'm.
And baby, I'm still waiting to get an email from you that I won't respond to.
Oh yeah. You want to have the option.
Well, just as soon as you appreciate something from me and I actually get that email, I'm waiting for that.
I gotta dive back into your Yoda work. How's the Yoda life been lately?
It's been a little light.
Good.
It's been a little light, man.
Yeah.
A little light. So
give us an example of some good Yoda work from the last week. You got one there at your fingertips?
Yeah, my latest was right here, boys. Preaching is not as hard as it is heavy.
Now, what does that actually mean?
I have
no idea
idea
what that means. Yeah. Okay. Good. Keep it opaque.
Oh, that's the best kind.
Yeah.
That's a perfect Yoda tweet because it sounds like it means so much, but maybe it doesn't.
And it's nice and short too. Like it would fit in a fortune cookie.
Correct.
You know what I mean? There's the product you need to drop: gluten-free pastoral fortune cookies,
Yoda cookies
with all your Yoda stuff inside.
Hey, I think you're onto something, Big T. I think that's big.
Yeah,
the potential for that is
huge. Big. Well, let's get Monsanto on the line. Okay, let's get a food like corporate giant on the line, and let's get that made. Let's get those in to the marketplace.
Yeah, right? I don't disagree with that at all. That's
good.
That's fantabulous, man. That's a really good idea.
Well, I'm glad we're on the same
Absolutely.
page, and I feel like we can always be counted on to start non-lucrative businesses on this podcast.
Correct.
And it's what we do in addition to wandering to and fro. So until next time.
The Happy Rant is brought to you by Resonate Recordings. If you go to resonaterecordings.com, you can see the full range of services they offer. So if you're considering starting a podcast, they are the ones we recommend going with. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see their prices, to connect with them and ask any questions, and to see what they can do to help you launch, edit, master, and improve your podcast. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see what they can do to help you launch and improve your podcast.